just took care of my sweet potatoes, and so far we still only have garnet, purple, and white slips. This is my one and only purple sweet potato left because, like I said, I've got plenty of slips here. They're not my most favorite, so I only kept one of the potatoes. These are my 2 garnet potatoes. All of these guys are my white sweet potatoes, and I just pulled all the slips off that were long enough. Actually, this one's probably long enough too. Take him off. Put him in there. And then these are my Japanese sweet potatoes, and they are still not producing at all. However, I am getting a couple little growth spots that I'm hoping will start producing. But they are always the last ones. They always take quite a bit longer than everything else, so I'm just being patient. Welcome to my upstairs landing. I bought a new table for here. It's taller and it's not quite as wide because this is actually a bench, and I'm going to take it and put it out in the garden. We need to assemble the new console and rearrange this. I have a little helper. You want this box? I got this little console table on Amazon, and now I'm realizing it is very small. I should have probably ordered 2. Crap. Anyways, we'll see what it looks like when it's up. This is all the wider it's gonna be. Like, oh man. Well, it is what it is. I'll make it work. Oh no, I'm wrong. Those 2 go together. Okay, that makes me feel better. All right, Rosie, get your little booty out of the shot. This is what we call housewife furniture in this house, because anything that has to do with being put together like this, Keith will break. First of all, he will not read the directions, but second of all, he will tighten everything so tight that it'll strip all the screws and everything. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because a lot of times he'll get impatient, and instead of using the little Allen wrench, he will go and get his drill. Obviously, that's not gonna work. All right, I'll be back when this is done. I really need a tiller. In fact, I'm just tempted to get in the truck and go to Tractor Supply and buy one. Getting ready to plant some things in my garden, and the market garden, I can't. I am going to have to go get a tiller. It is way too hard. But the first thing I'm planting are these pole beans, and I'm super excited because I'm using this trellis, and I'm gonna do, well, there's Miss Oreo. I'm gonna do them on this side and then the opposite side so that they can meet in the middle. This is how I plant, just so I have even spacing. So they're like 2 inches apart, and they're supposed to go an inch down. So I just take my finger and push it down and then cover it up. But I went to the halfway point of the first trellis, and then I'm gonna do the same over there, and then they'll meet at the top up there. But I think that should be enough pole beans. And then we'll move on to probably some squash and maybe some cucumber. All right, I changed my mind a little bit. I actually did pole beans from here to here and then the same on the other side. And then from here to here, I did lemon squash and then honey nut squash. And over there, from there to there, I did zucchini and summer squash because cucumbers and squash can't grow together. So I'm gonna have to grow them in a different bed. Now I'm gonna work on carrots and beets, and I'm going to do them this way. I'm planting everything in different spots this year, just in order to help with nutrients, and also my garden is different this year. Let's say I take these golden beets. I'm gonna do a row of golden beets and then leave an empty row for like a month from now so that we've got beets at different times. Does that make sense? And then we'll move on to the regular red beets and then leave some spots and then carrots, yada yada, so forth and so forth. We've got a little update on my sweet potatoes. One of my Japanese sweet potatoes has produced a shoot. I'm not gonna pluck it off quite yet. I'm gonna let it grow a few more leaves, or like let the leaves get a little bit bigger, but technically it is large enough to start, but it's the only one, so I'm gonna go ahead and wait. But yeah, I am just kind of going through all of my potatoes again and pulling off shoots and giving them fresh water and whatnot. Let's see, the last couple days I did some planting. I did some planting of some beans and carrots and stuff like that. But then last night I just was not in the mood to film, and I did the 2 beds out of my back patio. I did herbs in one and like lettuces in the other. So I'll show you that in a little bit when I get done with this, but I still have so much planting to do. I need to go get a tiller. That's what's taking so long. I need a tiller now. Between needing a tiller and having just different plans for the garden and not knowing where things are gonna go, I'm just kind of a little discombobulated, a little confused about what to plant where. So I just need to get the tiller so I can get that soil all tilled up, start planting the tomatoes, and then see where we're at. Because the rest of the stuff will probably go in beds, but I need to know my space. I'm gonna finish up these sweet potatoes and then I'll take you outside. All right, I've made it to the great outdoors, and here is my herb garden. As you already know, we've got our garlic chives, we've got our green onions, and then back here I planted a couple basil plants. That's a marigold, cilantro, and then here I did a couple sage plants. I said cilantro over there, but I literally did cilantro from there all the way to here because we eat a lot of cilantro. This is another marigold. Thyme I have from like here to here. We've got some Italian flathead parsley back here and here and here. And then we've got curly parsley here and some dill here and here. And these are all of my starts. And then what I got at the Amish greenhouse. And then over here, we've got lettuces. So I actually planted this marigold here. We've got Bibb lettuce, a marigold, Bibb lettuce, Bibb lettuce. We've got crisp mint, more crisp mint, more crisp mint. We've got 2 things of kale. We have another marigold, another Bibb lettuce, another marigold, and then gold rush lettuce I have from like here all the way to here. If you remember from earlier in the vlog, I planted zinnias from here all the way across and then down, just not on this front portion. And they're coming up. This is so exciting. Same with this bed over here, I forgot to show you, but they're all coming up over here too. I got my garden tilled. Don't let that 𝗀𝗏𝗁𝗃 fool you. He did like a couple swaths this way, and then I did the rest of the garden, and then I went this way, both directions. Keith's aunt and uncle let me borrow their tiller, so I didn't have to go buy one, which was super nice. So if you're watching this, Susan, thank you. Looks great. That's some great dirt, let me tell you. Also, an update, I have some potatoes coming up. We got a little Yukon Gold baby. Nothing in this one yet. And then we got a little russet baby coming in right here. Look at him. Oh, we got another one over here. Cool. Now I'm going to grab a rake and kind of rake this level. And then I have a whole bunch of eggshells that I've been keeping inside. So my arms are shaking from that tiller. I have a whole bunch of eggshells that I'm gonna crumble up in the soil and then let it dry out, and hopefully tomorrow. Sorry about the lawnmower. I feel like the lawnmower is always going when I'm out here. Anyways, I have a whole bunch of eggshells inside that I've been saving that I've crushed up, and I'm going to spread out and then let it dry out, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll plant my tomatoes. Garden season is here. I've been storing my eggshells in here, and every once in a while I take my meat grinder and I just crush them. So we're gonna give them a big old crush and go put them in the garden. There's all my eggshells. So there's a couple reasons why eggshells are so good for a garden. Number one, they produce a lot of calcium for the garden. And number two, they help deter pests because they have sharp ridges and the bugs don't like to climb on them. Now they won't get rid of your bugs, but they do help deter them. Go. She's a lot more even now. Doesn't have all those ridges from the tiller. I changed my mind. I'm gonna leave the eggshells outside and let them dry out. And then tomorrow when I plant, I'm gonna purposely place the eggshells around the plants because I won't plant this whole garden tomorrow. So that way they're protecting the plants that are in the ground. I decided I'm gonna take these eggshells and put them out on a cooking sheet or baking sheet because some of them are still kind of damp, and I'm gonna set this outside and let them dry out overnight, and then tomorrow I will add them to the garden once I finish planting. But I'll let them dry out and then I'll use my meat grinder and grind them down some more, but they need to dry out a little bit. Beautiful. Today is finally the day that I'm getting in this garden. I'm so excited. A lot of my tomatoes did not make it, but a lot of my peppers are doing really well. And I've got my second crop of cabbages and stuff, which are doing well. I did buy a few tomatoes from the Amish greenhouse the other day, and I'm gonna go ahead and plant those and see where we're at. And then I'm gonna start planting tomatoes from seed again. Just a few different varieties that I really want to have around. These are the 𝗺𝗲𝗎s that I got from the Amish, so I'm just gonna go ahead and plant. I'm so excited. I am so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. I really thought that gardening would be so hard this year just because I didn't have Mr. Tan. But it's just like, I still feel him here. Like, he's here. This garden is for him, and I have two incredible buddies helping me right now. I've got lime and I've got lemon. Mulberry is right there. I guarantee Sage is going to show up shortly. Maybe Miss Oreo, although it's kind of her nap time. It feels good. It feels good. When I plant tomatoes, I just dig a little soil out, get this guy loosened up, and then I always take, hi movies! I always take the first leaves off. Kind of loosen it up. And then my trick, this needs to be a little bit deeper because all of this will be in dirt. Yeah, that's good. All right, and then my tip that I learned from the Amish are to take some Epsom salts. You don't need much. And just sprinkle some Epsom salt down in there. It will help grow the most beautiful, abundant tomatoes you've ever seen in your life. There's the first one. Look at that. She's a beauty. You're gonna do so great in the garden here, Missy. Yes, you are. You're gonna produce beautiful, abundant, tasty, delicious tomatoes. Welcome to the farm. All right, now that I've shown you one, I am just going to tap in to my inner garden goddess and whip some of this out and turn my music on, enjoy the sounds of nature, and we'll see you after a while. All right, I managed to get all of my tomatoes and peppers planted, but I still have to do my cabbage family, some squash, and some cucumbers. And then obviously like my marigolds, flowers, that type of thing. So we're calling it quits, I think, for today. Definitely for the morning. And this is what we've got so far. So all 4 of these are Romas. And then these little guys, I planted more Romas like straight in the ground so we can have some late season Romas for canning. We've got 2 Amish pastes here, and then we've got an Amish paste that I planted for late season canning. We've got a big beef and another big beef. The rest of the tomato plants are ones that I grew, and I'm just gonna hope that they take, but if not, I did actually plant from seed as well. So there's the start, and then there's actual seeds that I planted in there too. So this is the ananas noor. It's really pretty. We've got a moon glow tomato there. We've got chocolate cherry tomato here. We've got some lemon drop tomatoes here and a Berkeley tie-dyed pink tomato. And then the rest of this bed is peppers. So we have 3 poblano peppers. This is an Italia pepper. This is a thin skin pepper. They're a little bit spicy. We have 2 orange bell peppers, and then we have 2 King of the North peppers. Then over here in this section, I did a couple of things as well. I planted from seed some black strawberry tomatoes. They're like the little tomatoes. They're so good. And then these ones looked so appealing, so I planted some of these too. They were the I think they were the Robertson or Robson tomato from Baker Heirloom. And then right here, I planted my hot peppers. I planted them all together because oftentimes my hot peppers cross-pollinate and make my not hot peppers hot. So we've got some shishito peppers, jalapeno, and cayenne. And that is the garden so far, and I will not lie, I have this orange sweatshirt that I was wearing earlier when it was cooler out this morning, and every single time I look at it, I think it's Mr. Tan. Every single time. All right, I just came back out here after lunch, and I actually planted marigolds in between each tomato. I didn't do it in between the peppers, but I might at some point. Everything needs a good water, but I don't want to water it in the heat of the day because you can burn your plants, so I will do it this evening. But all my little guys that I planted like from my seeds are really struggling, so I hope they make it through the next couple hours. All right, I changed my mind. I'm actually giving things a water, but I'm just keeping it down at the base and real low, keeping it off the leaves, because I just don't want to lose anything. It is the next morning, and I am going to actually give my garden a good water, because yesterday I just did kind of like a maintenance water because it was so hot. I didn't want to burn everything up, but I'm going to go ahead and take these eggshells and just place them around the plant like so. Again, this helps protect the plant. It will kind of deter the bugs because of the sharp edges, but it also just provides a lot of calcium to the plant. By the way, I got this bench out here the other day. Obviously, this is going to be tinned, like re-tinned like our house. And then Mr. Tan's picture is going to go up here. It's going to be like a little sitting area in the garden.